back to Couple With, everybody.
Welcome to the second Zoom chat of Couple With.
Yep, at home where it's comfortable. You know what I
I'm
mean?
snug. I got my hoodie. I got my beanie.
Look, we love it.
I
We
might get a
love it at
blanket.
the Stewed with Michael Donaldson, producer extraordinaire. But every now and then he's got to do his own thing too, and we can do this from home.
He's
You know what I'm
busy
saying?
doing producer shit.
Yeah, got producer shit to do.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna
Right.
recap the Derrick Lewis Blaydes card, and then we're also gonna preview the upcoming Rosenstruck and Cyril Gahn card as well, which is actually low key
Yep.
kind of sneaky, pretty good.
It was cheeky, but I feel like by the time we get to it, knowing all these COVIDs and all the things that are going on over there, that we might be left with like a husk of what could have been. It's not even an A+ card. It was a cheeky, like hardcore fans kind of card, I would
I
say.
think it was maybe a. I'll give it a B. It was a B
B plus.
overall. I
Yeah,
still
but
think it's a B minus, so it's still good. It's not like a. I don't think it's been stripped
it's
completely. I
not
think there's some still
it's
good fights on there.
it's not next week's card. We can say that.
No,
Like
it's
once
not.
we decide to preview that, that's probably gonna take 2 hours, I reckon.
We
That's
can't.
just
There's no
it,
way we could have two cards back to back of
it's
that
just
quality, though.
it's so outrageous.
Yeah.
As I said, I actually kind of liked this, like last week's card with Lewis and Blaydes. I actually thought it was a pretty decent card as
Didn't
well.
mind it. That's the way it goes when you get a card that isn't exactly stacked with talent. Usually it delivers. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, yeah. Just even then, like as long as it's got some familiar names and actually like competitive matchups, which the UFC have really been nailing on the head at the moment, I think. Um, yeah. All right, we'll kick us off. We had what do we have?
Well, so
Sergey Spivak, I think.
we had Sergey Spivak and Jared Vanderhoff. Dude, Jared coming in 20 pounds heavier. That's the thing with heavyweight. Sometimes you see a 245 and then a 265-pound guy fight each other.
Do you ever remember watching Brock Lesnar and Randy Couture?
Yes, I did.
You looked like Randy was like all of 225 and Lesnar had cut 20 pounds to make 265. And it was like,
Make
you're looking
Couture
at,
look like a middleweight.
yeah, like Couture looked like someone's dad with
Yeah.
like, who, hits the fucking elliptical bike every now and then. And Lesnar
Yeah.
looked like a fucking walking great white shark. he looked like when you see him walking out and then like, you go down the audience and you have what's his face, fucking Stitch putting all the like Faso on his face. He looked like a fridge, like a human, like refrigerator. You're like, how the fuck is he real? And I mean, that's the thing with heavyweight as well. There's just such a crazy gap between like when you have not a weight limit, you have you have to be within a weight limit of 220 to 265.
It's almost like there needs to be another weight class in between light heavyweight and heavyweight because you would see two different.
Yeah,
You
they
would
have
see
that.
the difference in the heavyweight division.
They have that in boxing. They've got cruiserweight.
Yeah.
So you got light heavyweights. Like I think what's light heavyweight? It's like I actually can't remember. I think it's like 190, 195 or something like that. And then like cruiserweight's like, I don't know. So there's I actually don't remember. Boxing weight classes are hard to follow just because there's
so
many more, and it's every 7 pounds, something like that. I don't know. Anyway,
got it right. Anyway, yeah. So
go on.
Sergey Spivak giving Jared Vanderhoff the business, showing him what it means to be ranked, and just kind of guarding the that 15 spot in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, I think this is one of those fights you look at too. It's like clearly he shouldn't be fighting these guys. Like he's ready. He's absolutely ready. I'm not saying he's the next Francis Ngannou, like the next world beater, but he's way better than everyone sort of outside of that lower echelon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the middling.
He doesn't exactly show it. He doesn't look like a flashy heavyweight. He doesn't stand out. Sergey Spivak, but there's a reason he's there, and it's probably time that he gets someone who's 14 or 13.
And there's a reason that he
doesn't have a number.
There's a reason that he's 12-2 as well. And like, I mean, I thought that fight could have been stopped a whole round earlier. Like, I really thought that fucking Herb Dean dropped the ball there. I think it was Herb Dean. Just with letting that fight go on way too long. So,
no doubt.
I mean, give Sergey someone ranked. Give him Walt Harris. You know what I mean? Give him someone to, someone who has a name, someone who's kind of made it up there in the rankings as well. I think Walt Harris makes a bit of sense. Maybe give him Who we said who was fought a little bit later up on the card, Docus. Maybe, because there was so many. It was a good showing for heavyweight, actually, this card. You know what I mean? Overall, there was a lot of good heavyweight fights on here. And as he said, like Docus, you could Aspinall, Spivak, you know what I mean? Like, and plus obviously the main event, like all of those guys should be really, showed that they should be fighting sort of somewhere up in the ranks.
No doubt, especially Aspinall, but we'll get to that.
Yep. Ayman Zahabi.
Yes.
Whoo! That was what you gotta see. What can you say, man? It was filthy. Awesome. Filthy.
Yeah.
He looks like fucking Ariel Helwani. Like he looks like Ariel Helwani's boxing club. What's he call it? Like Helwani Boxing Club 101.
He's fighting out for Zahabi's camp as well over in Montreal, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
His brother's his coach.
Yeah.
Great win. I don't see him fighting anyone ranked, but like he needs to continue that kind of path. He probably needs to stay active, take fights when he can.
Looks good beating someone who's missed weight as well.
Exactly. And just keep putting together wins like that. Build a highlight. Build a resume. Stay on track. As you said, don't miss weight. Sometimes you have to be like a UFC do-gooder. Like you just kind of have to take fights when you get them. Just put momentum.
That's how you gain fans.
Yeah, momentum is key.
It's not like the fans don't see you like passing up fights, or fans watch the sports. They'll see you if you win a lot. Like if you don't exactly have the biggest name, like Ayman Zahabi, if we see you on the next card or a card after that and we see you get another win, even if it's by decision, you gain respect. So just keep doing what you're doing.
I mean, look at
your path will be set.
I think a good example of that is like Gilbert Burns. I'm not saying they're the same guy, but like Gilbert Burns was, Gilbert Burns. There's no
listen to the name.
Listen to the name. Yeah, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound crazy. Like he had a lot of good highlight knockouts and submissions and he was doing work. It's just, he just wasn't getting any momentum for whatever reason. And then he made the switch. He lost to Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker had a little bit of, that's how I found out about Gilbert Burns. I actually watched his first fight I ever watched was against Hooker because I was a big fan of Hooker.
Dude, how crazy was that Hooker knockout though?
Yeah, it was Hooker was just fearless in that fight. Like he just walked right through him and just knocked him down and finished him. And so after that, I was like, well, I think I like Gilbert Burns. I was like, I liked what he did in that fight. So I followed him from there on out and he had one more fight at lightweight and then he moved up to welterweight and put together 4-fight win streak. You know what I mean? Not saying no to fights. His first fight at welterweight was against Alexei Konchenko, 19-0. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a tough test to walk into welterweight, a weight class you've never fought at before, and just go in there and beat someone who's never lost. And then what's he do? Like Konchenko, then he fights Gunnar Nelson, then he fights Damian Maia, then he fights Woodley. Like do that. You know what I mean? Just stay active, put together highlights, just keep saying yes to fights, and let's go.
No doubt.
Also, shout out Helwani Boxing Club.
All right, and we got after this was a good one to see. We saw the Australian Casey O'Neill from Gold Coast beat Shannon Dobson.
Basie. I'm gonna say, me a little bit of Casey O'Neill.
She has got a fan here at Couple with.
Yep, we should reach out to her. I think, as you said, I think that's a great idea. See if we can get her on a Zoom chat like this, and maybe give her a little, suss her an interview, see what it's about up there on the Queensland fighting circuit and stuff.
I mean, we shout out
our
upcoming fighters, but if they're from home, they're from the homeland. Dude.
Yeah. What do you think of her performance? I think, Shayna Dobson is.
So
I think she was 4-4. So I mean, like that's if there's any time to sort of show that you're ready to go, like you fight a UFC vet like that, 4-4, it means that she's had a little bit of. She knows what's up. She's not the best fighter, obviously, on the circuit, but you need fights like that.
Yeah. So before this fight, I was working at the time, so I actually didn't get to see this one live. But I got a message from one of my mates, and he said that he was pretty much just talking her up, like Casey O'Neill was the shit, and she actually put on a clinic. I watched it. I thought in that first round she got hit, and like she was in trouble for a little bit. The second round, she goes on to put a bit of a grappling clinic on Dobson, but I thought she performed pretty well. She knows how to take a fucking shot. That's what I know, and like the grappling is outstanding, and very happy for her.
Yeah, excellent. That's what you want to see too. Like if you'll see in the UFC, to put that to the test, if you are getting tuned up in the first round, toughness, heart, determination, like seeing that your game plan immediately did not come to fruition, and as you said, coming back in the second round to rally, taking her down, really, sharpening it up and getting your head in the game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She showed that she's in the cage.
Yeah.
And she ain't going to be taken out easy.
Yeah. Yeah, she's ready.
But she took a fucking shot. That first shot by Dobson was huge.
Yeah. That's what we need to see too, though, because for anyone who's making, especially fighters who are coming into the UFC, yes, you've had fights on the circuit, and yes, you've probably had some amateur fights or been in a different promotion. But once you're under those big lights, and as you said, she might have not taken those shots against the same fighter if it was a different promotion. Like there's something about fighting in the UFC that can make you freeze up a little bit. Like there's pressure, there's eyes on you. You know what I mean? You know that like what's at stake. You know that you're only going to get half your paycheck if you lose, and it can make you kind of I can't think of the word. Like it can make you freeze up, I think. So it's.
Yeah,
I'm glad to see.
If you're not present in the moment and you think about what's on the line, that's mental energy that could be used.
Yeah. All right, now moving on to your boy, Julian Erosa, your boy.
Yeah, look, it was good to see him get a win.
Juicy J.
As you said it best, he's had a tough road.
Yeah.
Maybe the toughest.
I love seeing fighters like this come back who just don't give up. Like that's one of those things as well. You need to, people kind of don't see those kind of narratives who aren't following the sport, man. Erosa has had a tough run, man. He had 3 losses in a row in the UFC.
One of them to Bryce Mitchell as well, which was one of the first unanimous 30-26s I've ever seen.
Yeah, and as you said too, he's not a sensational athlete or anything like that. You can just see he's just a hard-working, nose to the grindstone.
Like a good guy.
Exactly, a good guy. I love seeing these kind of career resurgences, like the guy who has the skills and a guy who, when you see him fight on the regional circuit, he's crushing everybody. Like, of course, this guy should be fighting in the UFC, but then every time he fights under the big, as you said, under the bright lights, he just can't, for whatever reason, put it together. So he's actually got released from the UFC twice and still was, optimistic about getting another fight, and always having his manager, put his name out there and say like, hey, like if you have a spot open, if anyone falls out on any card, our boy Julian Erosa is going to step up and take that shit. And, you're fighting someone like Nate Landwehr as well, who also has that reputation on the regional circuit to just go out there and have crazy barn burner fights. Like he stood right in front of fucking Darren Elkins with his hands down. It was just taunting him. He was like fearless. So I thought that fight on paper was going to just be fireworks. And
it was fireworks.
Yeah, bell rings and those two motherfuckers just flew at each other and just started swinging. So, did not last long. I mean, Julian Erosa, I think, what did he knock him out with, like a knee?
Yeah, no, he was piecing him up, and then came at him with the knee, and that was what dropped him. Controversial as well.
Did you think it was an early stoppage? I thought I was happy with it.
No, you can see Nate try and get up, and he, his legs aren't there. So yeah.
Look, if it was a championship fight, then maybe you could say that was an early stoppage. But when you're at that point in your career, it's kind of like, live to fight another day. You're not.
100%. Yeah, I didn't think it was an early stoppage at all.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was fine. Where's Julian Erosa go? Do you think I don't think he's ready for any kind of ranked opponent, but I'd like to see him continue to take.
Let him build up some confidence.
Yeah, continue to take fights like that. Julian Erosa, I'd have to pull up the rankings and have a look, but at this point in time, I'd still say he's at that area where you can sort of just fight anybody.
No doubt.
Yeah, as long as the person's around his ranking or a little higher, he's had 2 finishes in a row now, so that means something. Like he's not fighting. I don't know, find someone in the top 20, maybe. Someone around there, but someone obviously who's below Bryce Mitchell. You know what I mean? Like if Bryce Mitchell's just cracked 15 and moving up, it should be someone sort of around there, but maybe a little bit lower.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Yeah, but I'm excited to see. I'll watch both of those guys fight any day of the week. You know what I mean? And it's not a huge loss for Nate Landwehr either. It's not career-ending, altering kind of loss by any means. I think he'll still have fun fights. I think he's going to be booked as a fun fighter.
Yeah, I think the UFC brass will take care of him
Yeah,
if he
yeah,
comes out at people like that.
yeah,
He didn't lose any stock.
yeah, for sure.
Your boy.
Yeah, my boy. Now this one was heartbreaking. I've watched this fight maybe 2 or 3 times now, actually. Eddie Wineland's probably like one of my favorite, like OG fighters. Like, you know,
First WEC champion.
yep,
Bantamweight champion, I should say.
bantamweight champ years ago now, but
Years ago.
still a former champion. Um, Going back to like the days that I can remember my friend Mitchell getting me into this sport was the kind of days that he was like Eddie Wineland was the man in WEC, and like all of those fights on that circuit, and like the first season of The Ultimate Fighter, and like your Clay Guidas and your Diego Sanchez's, and like all those old names, BJ Penns, the Matt Serras, and all that whole entire era, he was like basically recapping for me. Um, and Wineland was one of those guys who really stuck out. You look and you watch him fight, and he's just got such a unique style. He's got that old style, like the fucking
literally, like his style matches his mustache. He's like,
I love his style.
I mean, you go back and you look at him like his old fights on the internet, and they're in black and white with him with fucking
basically, like you see, like it looks like he should have those dumbbells with the 2 big balls on the end of them, and he'd be in the circus, fucking like warming up behind the tent.
I heard he fought Popeye.
Yeah, legit. I mean, Wineland's not even that old either. It's just like he's just been doing it for a hot second, and his style, unfortunately, is this exact same. And because the sport is evolving in the 10 or 15 years that he's been fighting, he hasn't really done anything or added too many tools to the game. He's just kind of fighting the same, and it's good enough to get by, the very average or below average fighters. But when it comes to these new kids, and I'm not saying John Castaneda by any means is like the new generation, the next breed, or like the next big superstar, because I didn't see any of that in his performance. But what I did see is that Eddie Wineland's like style has been worked out, and like it's potent. He does a lot of tricky things, and it's hard to get used to his timing and his rhythm, especially with that herky jerky, like steps in, like that plodding footwork. But at the end of the day, his hands are low always. He's always firing from like his hands are like always, they're never up. He's got zero defense. His offense is his defense basically. And he just kind of hopes to beat you to the punch each time. And unfortunately, when you're his age,
doesn't fly in today's MMA.
Yeah, he's not fast enough to do that anymore. And I don't even know if he was fast enough ever, really. He's not an outstanding explosive athlete by any means. Like, he's just same thing. He's like a one of those hardworking, you can see he's just put a lot of time and a lot of effort into honing in that style. It's just that style is just not overly effective anymore, I guess. Yeah. And you can see slower. You can see that his chin's not really the same anymore. He can't take the punishment like he used to. Can't dish out the power like he used to because the hand speed's not there. I thought the sad thing about this, though, is that I actually thought he was winning. I thought he was actually really putting it on Castaneda. Like, he was really cutting him off a lot. He was throwing a lot of kicks, a lot of teeps to the legs to cut a lot of the movement off. Yeah. It's just, like he dropped his hands for like a split second, got clipped, and then kind of wobbled and dazed. And then he just stood there with his hands down, and Castaneda just blasted him with like a 4-piece. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with a couple of
4-piece with a fucking
sad. I don't think you'll see too many more Eddie Wineland fights.
It's sad, man. You're not wrong. You can't. He's that guy exactly. He's going to be that guy forever now. Like, the UFC will just use him for his name value to build up future superstars.
Yeah, he's going to be fighting 25-year-olds.
Yeah, man. What I'd like to see for Eddie Wineland is probably more like move into coaching. I don't know what he does outside of the cage, obviously, but I'd love to see him maybe move into coaching.
What is his camp? Do you know where he camp? Where he's at?
No. I should probably look into that, huh?
You know where it fitted? I think you could put him in like the Team A alpha male camp. I think he just fit in well with those guys.
Yeah, I think he's didn't he fight Faber? I think he's
probably
fought.
He was
I was gonna say like
WEC bantamweight champ. I'm sure he fought Faber.
I'm sure he must have probably lost to Faber in that sense. I'm not sure if he holds that by any begrudging means, but obviously alpha male is Faber's camp, so we'd have to see. But yeah, I'd like to see maybe move into a coaching role and step away from fighting, I guess. Like, I don't like seeing fighters at that age drop your hands and just get, blasted in the face like that. And especially coming off the Sean O'Malley loss previous to that, you know what I mean? He got sent flying across the ring, which really shows you how fucking hard Sean must hit, because Castaneda put him away with a 4 or 5 piece compo that sent him, running backwards and, fell into the cage and got TKO'd. I mean, O'Malley just shot a missile into his face and just blew him across, shot him across the octagon. So it's crazy. It's crazy to see that. All right, moving on. Haven't got a lot to say about this fight. Jared Gordon looked good, unanimous decision.
Yeah.
Missed weight. So you miss weight, buddy. Like, I mean, as I said, you want to be moving up in weight and maybe just fighting those 55 fights the same way as like Boom Kelleher has been doing. Like, he's a bantamweight fighting at featherweight against other bantamweights. Yeah. Like, maybe do that, Jared Gordon. But at this point, Flash Gordon's probably, and you need to take that a little bit more seriously. You can't be missing weight by that much.
Yeah, and it wasn't exactly an exciting fight either. It's just the fight of the.
I don't mind him. I don't mind Jared Gordon. Like, I don't have any issues against him. It's just like
neither.
Making Flash weight Gordon, is. Dude? Flash Gordon, exactly. I mean, I loved his last fight as well. Felder came off of the commentary booth to corner him. That was fucking sick, because I think Duke couldn't make it into the corner because of the COVID or the restrictions or whatever. I think it was on Fight Island, if I'm not mistaken. So that was fun. Moving on. I mean, I haven't got much to say, but not much to say.
Opening the main event though, we had Aspinall and Arlovski.
Yeah.
I mean, if you weren't an Aspinall fan before, you're a fucking fan now.
If you weren't aware of Tom Aspinall before, as you said, he is Frank Mir's son. He looks so much like Frank Mir, it's outrageous.
Yeah.
Get work to a bit of Tom Aspinall, man. Comes out of Till's camp. He spars with Tyson Fury. He's got really, really fucking fast hands.
Yeah.
He's very impressive, man. He's the future of that division, I think.
A very impressive prospect. Sharp says he's got the fattest cock that he's ever seen as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think Till also said on an interview, they said they did like a interview of the team in their last fight. So on like the Whitaker versus Till fight, they had most of the camp out of Till's camp were all fighting. Like the Grundy and Aspinall and like all the boys. And someone asked like, who's the longest in the shower? I think that was like one of the questions. And they all were like, Tom.
Probably packing 2 Coke cans. We know this.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
He's a big boy.
Anyway, he put it on
6'5",
which is, I mean, Arlovski's a bit long in the tooth, but it's a good win to have on the resume.
A bit long in the tooth. If there was ever going to be a longer tooth than Arlovski's,
this is a stale, fucking moldy, unbrushed tooth that's just molding away. But still,
Arlovski's been doing the damn thing, man.
He does have the most knockouts in UFC history, so it's good that.
Who does?
Still. Arlovski.
No, he doesn't.
Doesn't he?
Don't think so. Sure? I think Derrick Lewis does now.
Most wins in UFC history? Is that what I'm thinking of?
No, I think that's Jim Miller, isn't it? I was gonna say, you'd have to find the history there. I don't know. I don't think he holds that record. He might be in the record books close to that. But Arlovski's been that guy, man. He is the gatekeeper. He is the litmus test, as we saw against Tanner Boser in his last fight. He has been able to adapt his style over many, many years all of the years, literally. He looked like giant, muscular, fucking George Michael at one stage back in his early days. Big, handsome, hairy fuck. And now he's just, he's still hanging around playing Nintendo. So it's a good test for Tom Aspinall. And I think even Tom Aspinall knows as well, getting this victory, lighting Arlovski up in the first round. And then in the second round, Arlovski hit him with a couple of decent pops and he took it. And then as you saw, he shot a blast double, got him down to the cage and submitted him like almost instantaneously, which is crazy to think with someone with the experience of Arlovski with fucking 50 fights that he let that happen. But
long in the tooth, dude.
Yeah, the tooth is getting long.
In UFC heavyweight history.
Oh, it's heavyweight history. Okay.
That's what I meant to say. I don't know why I said UFC.
Yeah, good stat. Arlovski is going to Arlovski, and Tom Aspinall is going to ascend to those ranks, I believe. But still, as I said, I think the fights to make for Tom Aspinall is rack up these veteran names, but also take on the contenders who are around his ranking as well, like the Dockuses and like the Spivaks and the Greg Hardys. You know what I mean? I need
all the time that you can, because at
he's
the top,
young, man.
there is a scary, scary man waiting for you at the top.
Yeah, he's up the top, bro. Like that's it. He has a lot of time to do it. Fat dick energy, and he's, you know what I mean? He's fast. He's the camp is good. The coach is good. What he's doing looks very promising, man. I'm excited to see. I'm going to watch every one of his fights. You can't miss a Tom Aspinall fight, man.
100%.
He's very intriguing for this division, and heavyweight has been stale for a while. We need these guys.
If you're going to be exciting in any division right now, heavyweight is the one to go.
Yeah,
because there is not a lot of exciting.
I see a lot of potential for him too.
Yeah.
Who do you think these boys would face off next? I think Arlovski's still going to be the same. I don't think he loses any stock. I think he's just going to be the same guy until the UFC just tell him he can't fight anymore.
If he doesn't retire, give him anyone who's not ranked. And then also,
maybe better Alexi Olynyk, maybe.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Would you rather see him fight some other veteran, or do you want to see him fight some young, hungry cat?
No, I want to see him fight Olynyk, because I want to see Olynyk get his 60th win and then retire. And I think Arlovski's maybe.
Yeah, what do you do? Like a loser leaves town match or something?
Yeah, something like a loser leaves town.
Okay, yeah, something like that.
No, I can fuck with that. Aspinall, heavyweight's kind of strange though, because at the top, heavyweight's tied up.
It's the cream. It's the cream up the top, and now, there's a lot of contenders who are coming up. Like I do think that Francis is going to reign supreme over that division eventually. Like I don't know if he beats Stipe, but even if Stipe beats him, I think Stipe might have one more fight against Jones, or even maybe he won't do that. Maybe he'll just beat Stipe. He'll beat Francis and just.
If he beats Ngannou, he should retire.
Retire, or you don't think that he will stay around and fight John Jones?
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I think if
Stipe
fucking beats Francis again and then fights Jones and beats John Jones, retire as the best ever. Like literally retire the sport as the best ever fighter.
Don't stick around.
You don't need to fight.
What more of a high could you leave on than that? That's the highest of highs.
And even then, the thing is though, like he always gets a rematch for the title regardless. Like if he loses to Francis, he'll get a trilogy. If he loses to John Jones, he'll get a rematch probably.
Yeah.
You know, but I would say Stipe, take one or two more fights and then just dip out, make as much money as possible. But you can see these guys, they're sprinkling the seeds, and they're going to let these, these big juicy plants grow, and they have time, as you said, they have a lot of time to get these prospects the fights that they need to really make a resume and make a run and give us a new era of heavyweights, because it's been stale for a while.
I think it's still going to be stale, dude. I mean, who have we got? We've got Cyril Gane as a prospect.
Yeah, the prospect.
I mean, who else you got? You got Augusto Sakai, or you got fucking Marcin Tybura?
Tabora's looking good.
Yeah,
I don't think he's the next champion, but his skills are very high.
His skills look good, but he also
Augusto
looks like
Sakai.
your boy Jordan Gum.
We love a bit of Jordan Gum. He looks like, big. He looks like a big gingerbread man version of Jordan Gum. Shout out. We love you. Who else? I mean, Sakai. We've got some guys. Pavlovich is there. There's some cream. As I said, there's some cream there. It just needs to rise to the top.
That's some fucking goat's milk cream. They do that.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Phil Hawes, maybe the best body in the UFC. But I think, Phil Hawes getting this victory was not decisive at all. I mean, he is a vet. He has got a lot of experience. But this guy, Nasruddin Imavov, you hear that kind of name and you're like, all right, well, he sounds dangerous.
Like a man of legend.
Yeah, he sounds dangerous. When you hear those names that are really hard to pronounce, you're like, okay, well,
he sounds like? He sounds like the guy that you're trying to chase down in any Call of Duty game.
Yeah, like right?
He's the bad guy at the end that you have to fucking...
Well, he's a very talented fighter, man. And you look at the difference in physical stature and you look at the difference in, like, athleticism. Like, Phil Hawes is a way bigger and way more athletic guy. But, I mean, Nasruddin nearly had him knocked out, too. He had him wobbly in that second round.
Wasn't the most exciting fight. He wrestle fucked his way to victory. We know this.
Yeah, so we know that he has like the reliable tools to win a fight if he doesn't blow you out of the water like his last fight against what's his name, Paul fucking
Craig. No,
what's his name? You know who Phil Hawes fought last time? The Whitaker's training partner.
Oh,
I keep forgetting his fucking name. Poor guy.
Jack. No, not Jack. What's his? I'm trying to think of his name as well.
Nah, it's all good. We all remember. I mean, he just got blasted in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I see
Jacob Malcone.
Malcone. Thank you.
Okay.
Well done. Jacob Malcone, poor guy. That's a hard fight to debut in, though, right? And especially on the main card against someone who's as experienced as Phil Hawes. Have a better body. You know, computer says no. Like you can't be better built if you tried. Nasruddin Imavov's not going anywhere, man. He's dangerous as shit too. He, you know, a lot of people thought that he won the fight. Phil Hawes, as you said, he was able to put together enough, as you said, wrestling and striking. He was a little bit in trouble there in the striking, but he was able to, as you said, just kind of overwhelm him physically enough. So,
yeah, it wasn't the most exciting fight.
Yeah, it wasn't the most exciting.
It was still dominant though. I think like Phil covered him like a blanket, but it's not the fight that it's not the decisive fight that you want to see.
You're not going to get a huge leap in competition after that, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the ramblings I'm hearing is that like we want to sort of still see him fight these middleweights at this point. Like I know you can see that he's got superstar potential. It's just not yet, I think. And I think there's a bunch of guys there who are kind of like Phil Hawes. Like, I mean, like physically and kind of like where they are in the middleweight ranks. You've got that, you know, you got Joaquin Buckley could also contest him for best body in the UFC. You've got, who else?
Are we doing best bodies now?
Come on, physique wise, you can't get better than that. And then you got same thing, Lungi and Bula, I think his name is.
Who's bodied up more than anybody?
He's bodied up as well. You got, I mean, Costa, but I think even then, I think Phil Hawes has got a better body. Why are we talking about fucking? I always do this. The physical anatomy of a man is just what the UFC is about.
Yeah.
And right now, you can't get more jacked and more filthy built than fucking Phil Hawes. But as you saw, it doesn't, just because muscles don't equal fighting ability.
A bit of credit as well.
Yeah, come on. Barboza is outrageously jacked. Not in muscle, like he's not jacked, like is built, like he's jacked, but he's like shredded jacked. Whereas like Phil Hawes is like a brick, like a human brick shithouse. And so is same thing. So is Joaquin Buckley. So is Lungi and Bula. So is fucking the fight that we're going to miss out on next week. In
even you got to give it to Aljo as well.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. This.
We should do a video. We should
just do it. Just the best physique and best athlete, like just best athlete fucking video. Just us just drooling over fucking over what we don't have in the physical potential. But Phil Hawes fight. I don't know, still a middleweight at this point. I can't imagine he's going to get a huge step up. I don't think Nasruddin Imavov's also going to lose a lot of stock after that either. Moving on.
But
give him more opponents like that though. He needs to pass those tests, and he needs to pass them more convincingly than he did. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. All right, I'll take it on this next one. Alexi Olynyk and Chris Dawkins.
Speak.
I have a soft spot for Olynyk. I like watching. He is like almost like the Couture of this. That's still fighting this generation. That old fuck who's trying to get his 60th win. He has 46 submissions, 12 Ezekiel chokes. Like I just every time I watch this guy, I'm like, please win, please. Like I want to see. He's got a hot wife waiting for him. I want to see him.
Does he actually?
Yeah, he's Russian. Come on.
That doesn't always mean that you have a hot wife.
That means there's a good chance. We know the story about like after the war.
I know. I just mean like that. Yeah, I guess actually it probably makes sense. If you're a fighter and you're Russian, you most likely got a beautiful, tall, lean, blonde wife.
That's literally exactly what he has.
And she's probably athletic.
Yeah. Anyway, so he came out like he has pretty much in his last 5 fights. He comes hunkered over like it. What'd you say he looked like earlier?
Yeah, so what he looks like is an old Scottish troll that lives under a stone bridge somewhere out in some field. And, you know, his name's Alexei. Like, I mean, if you hear the name Alexei, you think that that's, you know, like you're the Billy Goat's gruff and you're that little Billy Goat that wants to come over and get Billy Goat's Griff wants to, you know, trot on over that bridge to get to the green grass, and fucking Alexei reaches those 80-inch arms out from underneath and just starts fucking.
That's his whole strategy. So he comes out hunched over, trying to grab you. He's either trying to grab you
Yeah.
or trying to throw the overhand
yeah.
from fucking like, it's back here. Like it's trying to fucking make its way.
So have you ever, in your time watching fights, seen someone who throws like more of a wider, slower, looping punch than Alexi Olynyk? I don't think anyone can throw punches that telegraphed and like that, as you said, like it's like he's casting a rainbow across across a field or something like that.
No shit.
It's hideous. Honestly, his striking is absolutely hideous. But if he can kind of punch his way into any kind of clinching situation or any kind of grappling, if he can get a hold of you, you need, like Docus showed, which is we haven't even fucking mentioned his name yet. The guy who actually won the fight.
You know what it is.
You know, he was dialed in for that, man. He was trying to catch him on the way in. He had fast, slick hands, very tight boxing. I think he's from Philly, isn't he? Is he out of I think he's out of Philly. And he's got
like a Philly guy.
Yeah, and you know, he was catching Alexei, and as you saw, it just takes a couple of punches now at this point, and Alexei's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. So he's trying to win his way by overhanding, using that overhand threat to push you back to the fence, and then he's going to try and grab you, which is still fucking dangerous. Like you can see when he grabbed Chris, like, you know,
it's so strange to think that like Alexi Olynyk was piecing Fabricio Verdum up on the feet like 2 or 3 fights ago, and now you're losing.
That was when like Verdum came back looking like melted butter.
Yeah, but I mean,
dude,
this is Alexi Olynyk.
That, dude. That was hilarious, dude.
I know. Alexi Olynyk.
The worst Verdum's ever looked.
Yeah, but I mean, Alexi Olynyk hasn't looked good in years and years and years, but it's somehow it's still enough to win if he can get a hold of you.
I think I was way happier to see Verdum look like shit.
Yeah. Anyway, well, hats off, as you said, hats off to Chris Daukaus. Did what he had to. That's a good name. He'll probably be ranked higher than Tom Aspinall because of where Alexei sits in the rankings compared to where Arlovski is. But I think those two guys are headed on a collision course of some sort. Like those, I want to see Daukaus versus Aspinall. Just saying.
Yeah.
They both looked equally as impressive, I think. But I would say, actually, I'll ask you, who do you think has more potential in the division? Daukaus or Tom Aspinall?
Aspinall, come on, man, 100%. Aspinall's opponent was, also long in the tooth, but still a little bit more formidable, I think.
I think that's what heavyweight is now. You've got a couple of these older gatekeeper guys, your juniors, your Alistairs, Arlovskis. It's weird because there's no other division that has that. It's only heavyweight where you can have these 40-year-old dinosaurs that still have enough skill and experience to get past, some of the new fighters. And then the ones who are actually going to go on to be something and probably be contenders will get past these old Billy Goats, as we said, fucking the old trolls guarding the bridge. Daukaus. I mean, as we said, I feel like you just pair up winners and losers. Do you do Tom Aspinall and Chris Daukaus, and you do Alexei Olynyk and Andrei Arlovski? I don't want to see any other fights.
I'll watch that.
Maybe sprinkle a little Sergey Spivak in there somewhere. You know what I mean? I don't mind me a little Sergey.
Yeah, I don't mind that idea.
Sergey. What do we do? What do you do, Sergey Spivak versus Chris Daukaus? Who's got the better titties?
Sergey for a lighter heavyweight has some titties on him. Can't pass that up.
Yeah, it's fucking.
He's a 240.
Motorboat him or something. All right. Now,
Charles Rosa.
Yeah.
And fucking Derrick. What's his name?
Derrick Minner.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and sum up a few of these to get to the top here because we still have to talk about maybe if we don't get to it next week's card. Otherwise, I might have to talk about it. I know I'm running out of time, but still, we might get to it. Derrick Minner and Charles Rosa. Derrick Minner coming out of what's his name? James Krause's camp.
Oh yeah.
All killers. I don't know what it is about that camp that's really starting to show here, but I mean, Krause is just an outstanding fucking coach at this point, man. And all of his fighters are just really, really tough to deal with. And Derrick Minner, longtime vet at the featherweight division, he's really starting to put it together, man. I was really impressed. I mean, Charles Rosa is not exactly fucking an elite contender, but Charles Rosa has done enough in the past, I think, to where you see someone like Derrick Mena shut him down like that, shuts him down on the feet, shuts him down on the ground, where Charles Rose is good. I'm excited. I want to see Derrick Mena in the talks, the same thing that you know, the boys like Gavin, the motherfucker Tucker are in, the same talks that are like, you know, the Sadiq Yusufs and the Andre Feely's and like those sort of outside of the top 10 featherweights. But like, I mean, he should be in that conversation. I think he should be fighting someone top 15 for sure.
After this win, I think so.
Yeah. Charles Rosa, he's not going anywhere. He's still young, man. He's got a really, really solid jawline too. I mean, you could cut, you know, you could probably cut diamonds on that chin. I don't know. Maybe, you know what I actually thought of? I think would actually be a really good fight. Charles Rosa and Chase Hooper.
Yeah, maybe.
Chase the wet dream Hooper and Charles Rosa. I'd love to see what that looks like on the ground. I think
Charles Chase right now. Do you know? Is he
M&M's?
Yeah.
I just think the UFC are finding it hard to pair him up with anybody. That's the thing, because you could see in his last fight, his striking's not up to par, and if they put him against anyone who's remotely dangerous on the feet, he's probably going to get chinned and killed.
But then again, like,
on the ground, man, on the ground. That's where it's at for our boy Chase Hooper.
Shit. You remember against fucking Tamor back in the day?
Tamor, yeah,
dude,
that was.
Come on, dude.
No.
Come on. That's definitely maybe top 2, top 3 moments for me ever. Like seeing him get the win over Daniel or David Tamor.
Daniel Tamor. How dare you? David Tamor, that would not happen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's my fight. I would say Derrick Mena. I want to see him fighting up, you know, the Ilia Topurias of the world. As I said, the Gavin, the motherfucker Tuckers of the world. He deserves to be up in that conversation. He's got a lot of wins. He's a vet now, but like as he said, like with that James Krause camp around him, man, his skill sets across the board are looking very tight, very clean.
No doubt.
What's his name as well? What's that other cat who came out through featherweight last year and had like 4 wins in a row? He's like tall, lean striker. Arabic. I can't think of his kickboxer. I think he's really tall, long range. Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Chikadze. Giga Chikadze. Yeah. Somewhere. Yeah. In that's where I was.
I was trying to think of it. Fuck.
Yeah. And Charles, as I said, Charles Rosa versus Chase the Dream Hooper. That's the only fight to make. I'm sorry. I'm actually pumped just thinking about that fight. I'd love to see what that looks like on the ground.
I'm happy to watch the Dream fight anybody.
Yeah, the wet dream.
If he wins, it's like hard enough to feel a little
right?
Choked up in the chest.
All right. Now, you can walk us through this one. As I said, I didn't put enough thought or enough stock into this fight to care, but Katlyn Vieira, I'm a fan of Katlyn Vieira. Yana Kunitskaya, she's hot as shit. Thiago Santos is blasting down that fucking Kunitskaya every night. We know this. Yeah. Lucky man. Walk us through the fight. What do you think?
This fight, I don't know. There's a point to be made that Katlyn got robbed. So there was a lot of ground fighting. Katlyn had Yana down a lot of the fight, but wasn't doing a lot. And I think that Katlyn having top position for a long amount of time was what won her the fight. I don't know.
She has top position, but it's not like she's dominating. She's not working for anything. She's just kind of closing down the game.
There wasn't a lot of damage. I think maybe Katlyn got robbed.
Yeah. That's fair enough.
That's what most of this fight was clinching and top position from Katlyn.
I think it does come down a lot to what the judges, as you said, what the judges' scorecards were reading there. But you could see,
I think she should be scored. It felt like she got scored against for not doing a lot from the top.
That's still just one of the progressive conversations in MMA to be, to be had. Still, is that how are you using 10-9 must system that they use to score boxing when a fight takes place basically on the ground the whole time, and it's just a battle for position. It's a battle for are you looking for the person who's chasing the submissions, or are you looking for the person who's controlling the top? What if the person on bottom who's in guard is actually doing more effective damage? There's just so much there now that, as you said, you look at these fights, you're like, you don't know if there's a clear victor or not.
Yeah, and Caitlin was a scary prospect in the division for a little while until
Yeah,
Aldana
I think
took her undefeated streak away.
she's still very I still think she's she's still a problem.
Yeah.
She's not the problem yet.
Also, I'm going to say this too. Any jiu-jitsu prodigy or threat in the women's division is, I think, makes them a lot scarier. Like jiu-jitsu in the women.
Yeah, but not against the champion though, because I don't think
effective.
anyone with crazy jits is
but
going to shut
anything
Amanda
against
down there.
anything against Amanda isn't going to shut Amanda
Yeah.
down. You could fucking
Well,
throw anvils at her and she's
I
going to
would put personally, I think Yana is not going to contest for the title with that, obviously.
Well, she
But I
already
think
did. Look how it went.
that was at featherweight though. I don't think she's ready for a bantamweight title shot yet, if that makes sense. So I think she should probably fight someone like Duranda May or someone in that. Like I think she's on a 4-fight win streak at this point. Like she has to fight someone. It's just there's no name that's standing out to me that's like, yes, I can't wait to see Yana Kunitskaya versus.
I thought she should fight Aldana.
Did they already fight?
I think so.
I mean, yeah, maybe Aldana. That could work. Can't remember if that's actually.
And then give Caitlyn's hard though because
she's kind of already fought everyone.
Yeah, plus most people underneath her are kind of on a win. You'd have to go down to I think it was like 12. Where was the name? It was Penny Kianzad.
Kianzad. Yeah, I think Kianzad actually has a fight.
You'd have to give it her.
Maybe
she's the only one who's like kind of on a couple wins, but she's 12.
All right.
7th, whatever.
Anyway, we'll move on to main event. Let's talk about your boy, Derrick Lewis, the Black Beast.
Got to give it to him, man. He was the biggest underdog.
Big underdog.
Big. Blaydes was a minus 450 favorite.
I have so many thoughts about how and why Derrick Lewis is Derrick Lewis. Why is it that as a fighter, he probably has the least amount of skill across the board out of anybody? He's got no ground games. He said he's probably the most dangerous blue belt in Texas, if that. How is it that
physically gifted?
Exactly. But that's one of those ones where like physical gifts can only carry you so far. And it seems like his physical Derrick Lewis's physical gifts have carried him so far that he has a resume that is actually baffling to look at when you think about
Ngannou.
He's got Ngannou. He's got Curtis Blaydes, who was kind of like the number 2 ranked contender for like the last couple of years. The guy who it looked like was going to ascend to the throne eventually. He just had to keep knocking off more names. Yeah. I thought it was a little bit unfair for Curtis Blaydes to take this fight, to be honest. Like I really thought that he deserved to be fighting.
He called Derrick Lewis out though. He was calling him out.
Yeah. Sometimes you ask for the
smoke, you get
if you ask for the fucking Popeye's chicken, sometimes you know what I mean. The chicken pecks back, bitch.
Sometimes you ask for the leg and you get the wing.
Yeah, and he got the wing right up the middle too.
You got a fucking chewy, gristly ass wing. His ass out.
Look, Curtis Blaydes looked the best I've ever seen him in any fight in that first round. He was on point. He was moving, bouncing in and out, moving his head, peppering with the jabs, setting up punches, drawing out punches from Derrick and countering. He looked outstanding in that first round. I was like, man, that's what you want to see from heavyweight, man. That's a lot of skill there. That's a lot of timing and precision.
Like his movement was good, but Lewis just doesn't entertain anything. Lewis just stands there and waits for you to come over to him.
But Lewis was biting on the feints too, man. Like you could see that he was reacting a lot. He was getting peppered a lot. He was getting backed up into the fence, as he said. Derrick Lewis has no footwork, and it just
must suck to fight Lewis because Lewis just waits for you to come to him. You've got to, Lewis is a counterpuncher.
But Curtis Blaydes, as you saw, the reason why he was such a big favorite is because he is basically better at everything than Derrick Lewis. On paper, he is. Like the wrestling should have been especially like the thing that was going to give Derrick the most problems. And yet he didn't even sniff a takedown in that fight at all.
He could. And the movement was there to get it to happen, but Lewis is just too intimidating. And like I feel like
he's so strong, man.
Dipped his toe in the water a little bit there, and Lewis was very.
I mean,
he was threatening.
Who have you actually seen fend off Curtis Blaydes' takedowns though, like that? If that makes sense, there wasn't too many attempts, but I mean, as you said, he didn't even sniff a takedown. And Curtis Blaydes normally sends everyone fucking flying across the ring when he shoots that blast double. So
Derrick Lewis, apparently.
Derrick Lewis, man, look, he looked trim. He's not carrying a huge belly anymore. He looked, as you said, composed. He wasn't letting any of the movement and any of the razzle dazzle get to him at all.
It shows how good DC is as well.
I know that makes it just some of the to put into perspective as well. Curtis Blaydes is basically considered to be the best wrestler in the division by probably a strong margin. But the way he wrestles, it's the way that he wrestles is just different, I guess. He still uses the traditional, as you said, the from distance, the blast double, top control, gets into mount, and he's a ground and pound guy. He's not really like a submission guy. Whereas like DC, as he said, like he clinch, shoot for the single, lift the leg up, you know what I mean? Uses trips and like gets to the back and looks for the rear naked. Like it's just a different style of wrestling. And I think
it's so impressive watching him reach the distance too, because he's a small guy. Like he gets man. They have a lot of problem doing so.
God, and DC was so out of shape for that fight, man. He had a fucked back. He was fat. He was just not looking at. I mean, Derrick Lewis is obviously a better fighter now too. But DC just made it look easy. And like you're talking about Curtis Blaydes, who you think is probably a little bit more of an explosive wrestler, a little bit more like technical and faster on the feet, but all of that. Just none of that recipe worked, and somehow DC just has it down, man. Yeah. And obviously, talk about the knockout itself. Was that one of the most vicious KOs you've ever seen? Because I have
a hard time. It's sort of a hard time seeing it because it's like the way that Blaydes is in front of the camera, but he looks like he just takes the uppercut from hell.
That uppercut, Blaydes fainted. Derrick lowered his level and bit on the feint, and then Curtis basically shot in for a low single. And
Curtis, you Derrick look both ways before crossing the road, buddy.
Yeah, no shit. Derrick Lewis literally sent that fucking Mack truck right up into his little garage. You know what I mean? Seen right on that, knocked the fucking beard clear off his chin. And then terrible ref stoppage yet again. Derrick Lewis is able to land two extra hammers.
Massive
meat hooks right after. Fucking scumbag. Herb, dude, what are we doing?
When Blaydes wakes up, did you see when he woke up and he said,
dude, he woke up in Skyrim. he got hit so fucking hard, man. He woke up in the round of fucking wind and spirits or whatever the fuck.
He didn't know how old he was when he woke up.
Man, those extra two shots were hard to watch. The shot that ended him, that just like stiffened him up and he just kind of curled over and fell. And then just seeing those last two hammers land as well. It's like, fuck's sake, Herb. Jesus Christ. Get in there. What are we doing?
Yeah, you think in one of those pre-fight ref meetings,
Yeah, man.
You'd be aware of such a thing.
Well, he's the one who's he does classes. He's the guy. You have to go to Herb Dean's school to learn how to do this game, and yet he's just dropping the ball at the moment. It's not good. Yeah. What can you say? Sometimes athleticism trumps all skill, and as you saw, Curtis Blaydes is the more skilled fighter. Derrick Lewis just hits so hard, man. He just hits so hard. He just finished the number 2 contender, second round, 1-punch KO. That's never happened to Curtis. The only time Curtis has lost is a doctor stoppage to Francis and a knockout where he got hit behind the ear by also Francis. But this one was different, man. This one actually knocked his lights the fuck out too, man. It's heartbreaking, but
it's rough with Lewis, man. Lewis is he'll take all the punishment. It doesn't matter how long you dish it out for, but he's just in it till the end. And anything can knock you out. Any moment you could just be fucked.
It's amazing, actually. It's amazing that Derrick Lewis is just an amazing fighter. I love him. I love watching him fight. I can't ever miss a Derrick Lewis fight because of the shit like this, because of someone who's just on paper so much better. Alexander Volkov is so much better on paper. Yeah. Look at these guys. Look at some of the guys he's beaten. Marcin Tybura, he just decides to knock out. Alexi Olynyk just decides to knock. Whenever he decides to knock you out, you get knocked out. If you have him on the ground, if he decides he's going to stand up, even though you have a fucking heavyweight grappler who's got outstanding skills and has been training for years to hold their opponent down and to control position and to take their balance away, Derrick Lewis just stands up.
He's been working on that's what he's been primarily working on lately.
And he's also too thick to submit. Yeah. You just have to see, no one can fucking get their arms around that
Alexi nearly did. Alexi, like,
nearly.
The narrative before that fight was Alexi was going to get him one of those, what's it, the Russian pie? What's that show called?
I can't. Peruvian necktie, is it?
I thought that. I don't know if it's that, but like Lewis was working on that exact defense to stop that choke from happening, and Alexi gets it on him anyway. But yeah, dude, Lewis's neck.
Who does he fight next? Who does Derrick Lewis fight next?
Dude, who can you get? Who can you give Lewis? Maybe the winner out of Rosenstruck and Young.
Yeah, I would say that's the fight to make. Whoever wins that, I think if Cyril Gane wins, you could give him Derrick Lewis.
Blaydes could get the loser of that fight as well, by the way.
Yeah, that would make sense. I don't think that's going to happen, though. I think the UFC just don't like Curtis Blaydes, and they were hoping Derrick Lewis would win this. So I think when Curtis Blaydes lost to Francis, he was on a 5-fight win streak, and then they made him fight Omari Akhmedov. I think. Oh no, sorry, Shamil Abdurakhimov. They're basically the same guy, just 2 weight classes apart. You know what I mean? Like, they don't care about Curtis Blaydes. They're not going to do him any favors because he was ranked. I think he'll have to go back and fight anyone.
That's the thing. I mean, Lewis, so good. He's good to watch, and he's probably even better on the mic. Blaydes?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's the best Instagram follow you'll ever have. Anyone who's listening to this, follow Derrick Lewis on Instagram. It is by far the best follow on the internet.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah, I think that I'd like to see him fight Biggie Boy. You know what I mean? I don't know if he wins this weekend's main event, but if he does, like if he knocks out Cyril Gane, yeah, me too. But I think, yeah, I'd like to see that fight anyway. I'd like to see how that would go. Paul Curtis Blaydes. I feel bad for him, but he'll be back. I personally, as I said, I wrote a post on our page. Check out our Instagram page at Couple With. I think he is basically just like a mirror image of Corey Anderson in that sense, where he should probably go to Bellator, man. Like, you got probably a much better chance of winning the heavyweight title there. You know, you got a much better chance of being promoted, put in big spots. You're going to get paid more. Yeah. He's the exact type of fighter that Coker's looking for. Young, talented, ranked.
Got a name. Like Curtis Blaydes has got a name.
And Curtis Blaydes has beaten everybody else. The only people he's lost to is Francis and Derrick Lewis, and they're probably the 2 hardest punchers in the sport.
And they're not going anywhere.
You know what I mean? Other than that, no one's even. I mean, he withstood. Yeah, I mean, look at some of the guys. Curtis Blaydes has withstood Alistair Overeem's flush knee to the chin. He's withstood fucking Mark Hunt. You know, like he's got some names on that res. He's Alexander Volkov, who we just saw get a huge win the other weekend. He shut him down for majority of the fight. As you said, Abdurakimov's there. He's very good. He's very good, and I think Scott Coker would welcome him with open arms. And I think the UFC have no plans for Curtis Blaydes to ascend to the throne, despite the fact he's really talented. And as we saw, he's getting way better. Like, he looked really good this weekend, like in that first round. It just seems that his striking is getting better. His wrestling is at a certain level. I don't know if it's getting better or worse. He just needs to be able to mix them together better.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to be able to wrestle and fight, strike and grapple all at, seamlessly, instead of basically, oh, I'm striking. Oh, now I'm wrestling. Oh, I'm striking.
The difference between this most recent fight and his previous
timing
before that, he's made some improvements. So let's see him do that again. And
his striking looks very good.
While you're still young and you still got this blast double and explosive energy, go take it.
Yeah, he's young. He's only in his late 20s, I think. He's only like 28 something. Yeah. Anyway, we'll sum it up there. I gotta head to work, but yeah, man, I love doing this. I want to do another preview. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe we might get a chance.
We're gonna preview this upcoming card. I think maybe we'll do that in the next couple of days. Get that out.
Yeah, I can't though. I'm going away this weekend, bro. So, I mean, we might not be able to preview it, but from here on out, we're gonna try and preview the upcoming cards and then do a review like this of the card just gone. But
we were trying to do the previous card, and then we were trying to do the card coming, but we just
we'll have it together though. As we said, we're still. Yeah, we get lost for time. We like to talk about this shit a little too much. We got to,
we got to tone it down on the physiques and the bodies. That's like takes up too
much
time.
But
we can't help ourselves.
No,
fuck.
Yeah, it's all right. You got to shout out where the hard work has been put. You know what I mean?
No doubt.
Yeah, man, it's nice talking to you as always.
Too,
That's Wooch.
Griff, love you, buddy.
Too, brother. And we're gonna try and get as many of these out as we can, so you can just tune in. And we're going to try and save a lot more of our segmented work and some projects we've been working on for the actual Couple with Couch, the live from the whatever it is, live from the Couch Studios with Doodle. I always forget the fucking name. Michael Donaldson, I'm sorry. Every time I think live from the couch, the first thing that comes to my head is the casting couch.
Yeah,
and I don't know why, but I always correct myself. It's the casting couch. We love doing this, dude. Also, yeah, check out our YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. We're on Apple Music now. We're Spotify as well, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We're going to try and get onto as many. Yeah, Google Play soon. We're going to try and get on Snapchat. We're going to try and get on TikTok. We're going to up our Instagram presence. Chuck us a follow. And also if you
big dick moves coming.
Yeah,
try and avoid
big dick energy on its way, son.
Yeah,
long dick style. And that's what I'm saying too. Anyone who's watching this, if you want to come on, just hit us up on the inbox, man. If you're a fan of MMA, if you want to just talk a little smack with us, on the couch, hit us up, man. Reach out to us. If you like to hang, you want to talk, shoot the shit with the boys, we got you. You know what I mean? All right. As always as well, chins tucked and stay thick.
Peace out, boys.